Welcome to tonight's episode of Nightmare Project. A child starts a game of hide and seek with a creepy doll that appeared in her bedroom. When hide and seek turns into a game of life or death, the origins of the doll are questioned. As a mom, my family is very special to me, but to most, we probably look like any other family of 5. My youngest is Emma, who is 4 years old and has a very active imagination. For the most part, my kids get along nicely. We do get occasional squabbling here and there, but most of the time it's fairly copacetic in our lives. My favorite time with the kids is when we play family games. We can be hilariously competitive at times, and those sounds of laughter always fill my heart with joy. Emma is such a sweet child. At school, teachers would often give me compliments about how open-minded Emma is to new ideas and how she loves to share and play games with her imaginary friends. She's everyone's favorite, no matter where she is. It's always nice to see her siblings wanting to play with her and give her the attention she seeks. Emma, being the youngest, couldn't play most of the games her older siblings would play, so she would make up her own games. She usually could get some of us, if not all of us, to eventually play along with her. One day she started a game of hide and seek. Looking back, it's a game we wished we all would have never agreed to play. If you're enjoying tonight's episode, please subscribe and don't forget to smash the like button. Emma came into the living room and announced that her doll said, "Come find me." Emma went on to explain that her doll was really good at hide and seek, and she needed our help to find her. Loving Emma's creative mind, the twins jumped up and offered to help. After about an hour, the 3 of them came walking back into the room. Clutched in Emma's hand was an odd-looking Ragdoll that I had never seen before. Andrew quickly gave me the rundown of the great search and how eventually they found the doll under Bonnie's bed. I asked Emma where she got the doll from. She told me it climbed through the window. I didn't think much about it because her bedroom is on the 2nd floor. Between her siblings and her dad, she was always getting little gifts and surprises. Later that day, before the kids got home, I went to pull something out of the freezer. As I opened the freezer door, I let out a little scream. Sitting inside was Emma's doll staring at me. Later I asked Emma why she put the doll in the freezer. To my surprise, she told me she didn't. She explained that the doll must have went in there to hide. I told her not to hide the doll in the freezer anymore and simply left it at that. The next day, my son Jackson came to me and asked me if I could please ask Emma to stay out of his room. He explained that he found her doll sitting on the top shelf in his closet. She had to have climbed a distance to put it up there. He didn't want to see her get hurt. I asked Emma about it, and she said she was never in his room. Now, Emma wouldn't usually lie. After asking all the other kids about the doll and hearing no one confess to placing it in the closet, I again asked Emma about it. She still claimed to be innocent. I felt that I had no choice but to punish her for lying. I took her doll away and set it on top of the fridge. I told Emma she could have it back when she was ready to tell the truth. Later, still looking quite sad and a little defeated, Emma went off to bed. The next morning, I got up and went into my bathroom. When I opened the medicine cabinet door, my heart dropped to my stomach. Sitting there was the doll. Very confused, I took the doll and went to Emma's room to confront her, but she was sound asleep. I placed the doll on her dresser and went downstairs. 20 minutes later, my husband Joe came down, and in his hands was the doll. He tossed it on the table and asked why Emma's doll was in his dresser drawer. Seeing the color drain from my face, Joe asked what was wrong. I explained the details of the last 24 hours. Where did the doll come from? He asked. I told him I thought he had given it to her. If not him, then maybe one of the other kids did. Shaking his head, he said it wasn't from him. He must have felt my fear, because he said to me, "There's got to be a simple explanation for what has happened." He picked up the doll and looked it over. There was no tag or maker's mark anywhere on it, and it appeared to be hand-sewn and very old. One by one, I asked the kids about the doll. None of them claimed to have given it to her. I asked Emma once again where she got it. She gave me the same answer as before. It climbed through her window. Quite scared and in disbelief at this point, I took the doll from Emma. I made up a story about another little girl who had lost her doll and told Emma we needed to get it back to her. I then bribed her by promising to buy her a new doll, a big doll. She gave up the Ragdoll freely. As soon as Emma was out of sight, I took the doll outside and threw it away in the trash can. For the next 2 days, everything seemed fine. Then Emma came running up to me, all excited. She claimed her doll had come back to her. Immediately on edge, I asked where it was. Emma said it went to hide. She also said the doll had told her she didn't like sitting in the trash can. I will admit, it was hard not to break down right there on the spot. Quite shaken and desperate to get away from the house, I decided to do a little grocery shopping. While at the store, I just happened to run into my sister and Father Tom, the priest from her church. My sister could see the worry and fear on my face. She asked me what was wrong. I broke down and told them about the doll and everything that had happened. Father Tom, bless his heart, said that maybe he could help. He offered to take the doll from us and keep it for observation. I really felt that he believed me because he gave me his cell number and insisted that I call him when ready. A couple hours later, my sister had called to check up on me. She told me that after I had left, she and Father Tom talked some more about the doll. She explained that he didn't want to scare me any more than I already seemed to be, but he was very concerned. He had read accounts of mischievous or evil spirits attaching themselves to inanimate objects. My sister expressed to me that the sooner we get the doll to Father Tom, the better off our family would be. I assured her that as soon as the doll turned up again, I would give Father Tom a call. That evening, I explained to Joe what my sister told me. Not being a religious man, he was skeptical. He was sure that there was a simple explanation for what was going on. 2 days passed, and there had been no encounter with the doll. I opened up every cupboard door and every dresser drawer, cautiously afraid that the damn doll would jump out. I even asked Emma if she had seen it, but no luck. That night, after the kids went to bed, Joe and I were watching TV in the living room. I had just taken a drink from my water bottle. When I went to put on the cap, it slipped off and fell under the couch. I bent down to retrieve it, but when I stuck my hand under to get it, something stuck me. I let out a cry of pain and drew my hand out. On the side of my finger was a small hole dripping blood. Joe quickly pulled out the couch to find out what had pricked my finger. To our surprise, we found the doll lying there. Beside its hand was a needle. Before I could say anything to Joe, he said, "The doll did not stick you." But deep inside I knew the truth, and it scared the hell out of me. I went to the kitchen and grabbed my phone and called Father Tom. After explaining what happened, he instructed me to bring the doll to the church rectory the next day. We agreed to meet around 11. I remember asking him if we could do it any earlier, as I was more than ready to part with the doll. In the end, we settled on 11 o'clock. When I went back into the living room, I found my husband shoving the doll into a paper bag. He angrily mumbled under his breath, "I'll take care of this thing once and for all." Then he took the bag to the kitchen, grabbed a lighter, and went out the back door. I followed him and watched him as he set the bag on the grill and lit it on fire. It took mere moments for the bag to burn down to nothing. "Problem solved," he said. I asked why he did that. He explained to me that it was just a doll. It wasn't some evil monster that we needed the church to take care of. He insisted I was letting my imagination get the best of me. Later we went to bed. I must have felt a little better about everything because I fell right to sleep. I'm not sure how long I was asleep when suddenly I was woken by the smell of smoke. It wasn't strong, but it was noticeable enough to make me sit up and take notice. I shook Joe awake to see if he could smell it too. As I was about to slide my leg out of bed and go check things out, a sharp pain shot through my foot. Something had bit me. I cried out in pain and turned on the light. Looking at my foot, I could clearly see what looked like teeth marks through the blood. Joe quickly threw back the covers to see what it had been. There on the bed, hiding under the covers, was a slightly charred Ragdoll. At first, we both just stared at it, not knowing what to do. In an unsteady voice, Joe said to get dressed. After I threw on some clothes, he instructed me to watch the doll while he got dressed. We were both afraid that if we took our eyes off it, it would disappear again. Once dressed, Joe firmly grabbed the doll and we walked to the car. I drove while he kept a tight grip on it. We pulled into the church parking lot and all but ran to the rectory. It was only 7 in the morning and still dark outside. We banged on the door. After what seemed like forever, a light behind the door turned on, and a frail old man that is Father Tom opened it, looking a little shocked. I broke down and started pleading with him to take the doll. Then Joe explained what happened with the burning and the bite. Father Tom asked us to stay right where we were for a moment, and he went back inside. A couple of minutes later, he reappeared holding white vestments. He took the doll from Joel and gently wrapped it in the cloth. He assured us that he would take care of everything. He sent us home and told us to get some sleep. Thankfully, we finally did. 2 weeks went by, and everything seemed to go back to normal. I was still a little scared when opening cabinets and drawers. I insisted on pulling the bedding back all the way before sliding into bed each night, and even Emma seemed to have forgotten all about the devil doll. A few nights later, after a wonderful family dinner, my phone rang. The caller ID showed a number that took me a moment to recognize. It was Father Tom's cell. I quickly answered, saying hello. There was no reply. At first I thought maybe he had accidentally dialed me. But then I heard a faint, muffled groan, followed by a sharp intake of breath. I said again, hello? But still there was no answer. I pressed my ear tightly to the phone and listened as closely as I could. I swore I heard a little girl laughing. I once more said hello. This time, clear as day, I heard a little girl's voice say, "Come find me." Then the line went dead. What would you do if a child's doll appeared to come to life in your house? Please let us know in the comments below. Thank you for watching.